This is an IOSH podcast.
Hi, my name's Greg Ward. I'm the Head of Commercial Development at IOSH Services Limited. We are putting together a number of podcasts specifically for our relationship and engagement with our training providers. We want to make sure that what we're doing with all of our podcasts is to focus on making sure that not only are we engaging, but most importantly about establishing and developing a relationship. So collectively what we can do is drive a safe and healthy world of work. Through our first podcast, we talked about our direct engagement between IOSH Services Limited, our commercial development team, and the training network. What we want to talk about now, looking just slightly further back, is to say, beyond the actual original engagement, there are a number of activities that are taking place in a number of teams. Firstly, it's the question of the actual product itself, the key things that we focus on and our product team. Secondly, there is our question of our tailored course approval. And the tailored course approval piece is to say that we don't simply have our boxed product, but we can develop it further in terms of all sorts of different areas specific to the needs of the training provider and indeed their end customer. And finally, there are lots of circumstances under which we look to try and develop and change as well as address issues and problems. And that's done through our own commercial development support team led through Emmanuel. So through this conversation and this podcast is just to have a chat about how these things work, how we work together, and importantly about how this really benefits the training providers. So first of all, let me pass over to colleagues and we'll go from there.
Hello, my name is Victoria.Hunt. I work as a product manager here at IOSH. I've been with the company for about 8 years now, and over that time my team's changed quite a bit. So we can go into a bit more detail later, but it'd be really good to talk you through what we do.
Great, and over to Kym.
Hi, my name is Kym.Godfrey. I am the Senior Learning Development Officer for Tailored Course Approvals. I am extremely fortunate to lead 2 amazing development officers as part of the wider learning design team, all working within the IOSH family.
Thanks, Kym. And over to Emmanuel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emmanuel.Ogejuma, and I'm the commercial business manager for the sales team, basically. Of course, again, for us in sales, it's all about engaging with our customers and selling IOSH products and solutions. And I've been with IOSH for about a year now, or barely a year. I joined May last year, so I'll be happy to have further conversations and then share with you what we do to support you better.
That's great. That's great. Thanks, Emmanuel. So, thanks, everybody. So, thanks for the introductions. What is interesting, I think, is that from a personal point of view, I've worked and engaged as a member of the training provider team for well over 15 years, and one of the constants around that has been things like IOSH managing safely, and it's important, I think, that we have an understanding about what goes on sort of like behind the scenes a little bit, and what are we intending to do. So I'll pass to Victoria to just see what are your thoughts about how we progress with the things that people know in terms of our products, and then perhaps the things that people don't.
Yeah, so managing safely, obviously, it's part of our legacy portfolio. So it's an absolute kind of cornerstone of what IOSH delivers. So for us, obviously, it's hugely important and massively valuable. My team, as the product team, there is a small group of us. We have a couple of assistant product managers and a new role to the team as a content improvement designer. So that new role is kind of pivotal in the direction we can start moving, which is fantastic. Really, our team are kind of changing all the time with regards to what the strategy is with IOSH. Historically, we've been focused on a lot of new development, qualification development. You know, you've seen quite a few of those things come and go. Mm-hmm. But moving forward, the strategy is kind of focused more on the people side of sustainability, but also it's going to give us quite a lot of time, hopefully, and resource to work back and start looking at the portfolio we currently have in place, revisiting all of those things and making sure they're as strong as they can be. So for me, managing safely in particular, revisiting it, understanding the customer's needs better, reviewing the content, speaking to all of you, our training providers, to understand what your direct experience has been, and essentially making sure that it remains the cornerstone of what we do and succeeds.
And how, so if I was a training provider now and thinking, actually, I've been delivering managing safely for an X period of time, how would I sort of come back to you and say, well, these are my thoughts, or these are, this is what we want with regards to managing safely, refresher, et cetera, et cetera. How do I connect with IOSH to give my thoughts?
Yeah, well, we've had an inbox that's been live for a very long time. The purpose of it's been quite different depending on where we've had resource and what we've been able to do. But the feedback inbox, which is purely feedback@iosh.com, that comes directly into our product team. And what we really appreciate into that inbox is, feedback of all different natures. We want to understand things that you've spotted that might not be quite right. We want to understand things that you've experienced that you think may help to improve or evolve the product, and just general feedback about the whole portfolio, really, so that we can incorporate that within our horizon scanning, competitor analysis, all the different things that we do kind of day in, day out. We need to be able to incorporate that kind of feedback, so that when we review a product, we have as rounded a view as possible. We are one team, we have a view of our own, but we need to make sure that reflects everything that you believe as well.
And if for example, what about in terms of our, managing safely, working safely, courses have been out for a long time. Is that purely in English? Or do we have that in other languages also?
Yeah, so managing safely and working safely, we've got 5 languages. So top of my head, we've got Arabic, Hindi, we've got Indian Bahasa, we've got simplified Chinese, and we've got Turkish. So I think that was 5. So those are the languages we currently have available. There are some training providers out there that choose to go through different routes. So we have Kym, who's joined us today, working in our tailor course approvals team. If someone wants a language that we don't currently provide, there are ways and means of doing that. Every decision we make with regards to translation has to be fully backed up, fully kind of evidenced with regards to whether or not it's a viable option for us and that we can actually maintain and continue to deliver it. So sometimes it takes us a bit of information gathering before we can make a decision like that. But training providers do have other options as well.
No, that's great, and that's a good segue really in terms of the trainer course approval piece over to Kym. So let me just ask you the question that we have our key products, but what we want to do is then to say, but as far as organisations are concerned, they may well have much more varied ideas about what they want to connect with. How do we do that? What is our tailored course approval option?
Here in Tailored Courses, we provide the service to both new and existing training providers. Not only can we approve unique courses that you have developed to deliver commercially or in-house, but we can also review versions of PAC products like the Managing Safely course, which you have tailored to a certain industry or set of employees. The whole approval process is exciting. We get to meet training providers either at the point of their course inception or when they already have a completed product. Either way, we get swept up in the excitement supporting the development of new ideas into a professional training package, or guiding providers to enhance their existing course materials into a slick and effective end product. Our provider's passion very much becomes our passion too. We become a team working to help delegates achieve their learning outcomes in all areas of safety, health, and well-being under the IOSH badge of approval.
How many different courses have we got in terms of the scale of that?
There are currently around 670 tailored course licenses.
Right. Okay, that's excellent. I mean, what is important is that the connection with our training providers to make sure that we have a wide variety of courses. So by the nature of things in terms of safety, there's also lots of different sectors, different geographies, different cultures, etc. In order that we actually try and address that and incorporate that.
We approve courses covering everything from digging holes to flying aeroplanes.
Thanks for that. I mean, that's it is a real diversity of what we're doing, and I think the scale of it is huge. let me just pick up something slightly different, which is that, what we also have to be cognizant of and supportive of is the support that we have when we have challenges, when there are problems, when there are issues that we need to deal with. Now, we have our customer service centre team, but dedicated around for IOSH Services Limited also is the work that's delivered through Emmanuel, through our business manager and the team there. So, Emmanuel, could you just sort of give us an idea and give us some examples about how we engage and what it is in terms of the support that you're doing with, over, the recent weeks, months, etc.?
Yes, thanks, Greg. I think in customer relationship, really, managing issues is one of the most critical element of that relationship. And this helps your customers to be comfortable with what you do, and so they can also support their own customers. Now, at IOSH, one of the things we are trying to do is to be more customer focused. Now, I'm happy you mentioned the fact that we've got our customer service team. So that is the major team that deals with customer queries and inquiries, really. But one thing we have done in commercial is also to see how we can complement this team and ensure we are able to resolve customer issues even more quickly. And that is how we came about with the customer engagement team. So basically, it's a team that is composed of myself and about 2 of my colleagues. And what we do, we have different avenues that customer issues come into IOSH. It could even be from our customer service team. They could have some issues and they think this could take longer if they deal with it directly, and they pass that on to us. And then, of course, we've got our business@iosh.com inbox, where customers directly deal with commercial team through our admin teams. And then sometimes we have our colleagues from the sales team because we want them to be focused primarily on engaging with our customers. We don't want them to be thinking about problems and all that. So we at the back end, the support team, we deal with some of these issues when they come in. So proactively, we engage the wider organizations, maybe finance, for instance, even the product team as well, and then sometimes even the contract team. So we handle these issues and try as much as possible to resolve them quickly. It's barely a month old, but we've seen significant results, and we think this is the right way to go, really. We've had some very good feedback from customers who have had lingering issues from as early as last year. And we've been able to deal with this in a couple of days, really. So it's really exciting, and we hope to even do more for our customers so that they can see IOSH as a worthy partner going forward.
No, and that's really important. I don't want to cause any confusion where we talk about something being a month old. The idea here is that there's a great deal of structure in terms of our customer service team, but we want to add something different. So, in terms of adding and investing into the team, adding an additional customer service support function, as well as other elements that we're doing, which is new. So the introduction of the new IOSH training brochure, for example, or the new IOSH training network forum, which has been established as well, is, we really want to try and reach out and say, look, we want to be particularly proactive and engaging with the training provider here, and to start with this engagement. So thanks for that, because that's really, really helpful. Okay, so what we've talked about here so far is how we operate, what we've been doing, what is new to us as a team. It's important, I think, as a training provider, is to think, okay, well, we've got a new financial year for most people starting from April onwards. What do we need to do? How do we engage in such a way that we can be, very much future focused? And the thought about how we engage with our customers. We've already talked in the video with our training team about the fact that we're going to come out and have a face-to-face engagement, face-to-face discussions, the thoughts about what your strategy is. But let's have another discussion, thinking about it more from a product perspective, about what it is that we're doing in terms of looking out to the network, and what it is that in our strategy, in our plan over the next 12 months, etc., what that looks like, aligned as well to the Activate 2028 strategy. So I'll put Victoria on the spot first of all on that in that question, and say, what, as we look forward, do we think is the next kind of stages in terms of our product portfolio?
Yeah, so We are creating ultimately a rolling schedule. I mentioned a few moments ago that, we've historically been looking at new development a lot. And obviously very recently with the people strategy with sustainability, we've brought managing sustainably in, we've brought leading sustainably in. So we've got some of those new products coming in. But we do want to absolutely start focusing on addressing our existing portfolio and especially our legacy products because they have been, on the shelf for a little while. There's nothing majorly wrong with any of them, but we know that we can do better, and we know that, to do by the training providers the best we can, that there is definitely some progression that we can make and some evolution that can take place. So with regards to kind of that rolling schedule, we will be starting to look at those legacy products first. And I think we've already actually started reaching out to a number of training providers to ask for specific feedback. So we created some kind of survey monkeys to try and ask some questions. We've also asked for some of those to be extended out in a slightly similar way to the delegates of those training providers, if there's any way we can get that direct feedback from the delegate as well. And, really moving forward, we're doing a lot of horizon scanning, trying to understand what the feedback inbox is telling us. And actually, really, this is kind of the critical time. If people do have any valuable feedback that they feel that they would like to share, as constructively as possible, of course, so that we can try and do something with it, then really that would be, absolutely valuable coming in now. I know that sometimes people may say, we've said something in the past. I said something a couple of years ago, but, hopefully that'll all be mopped up as part of these reviews and these updates. But, if it comes in fresh again, we can add it to that list and make sure that, the USPs we're searching for, that we get them right, and that the target audience is exactly correct, and that the things that training provider network want from the product, that we try and achieve those as best possible.
So one of the things I always think when we talk about change or something that's new, etc., one of the things which is a real strength with regards to IOSH and the relationship with the training network is the consistency in terms of quality and standard, etc. So would you mind just for a second just talking about from a validation point of view and maintaining quality and standards? How does that work? What are the teams involved in terms of that area?
Yeah, so you mean just kind of ongoing, making sure things are on track
absolutely.
and that nothing's falling behind? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we engage across the whole of IOSH with different departments that don't sit necessarily in our kind of IOSH Services Limited area.
Yep.
So we engage with the advice and practice team very frequently. When we do these legacy updates, one of the key things is going to be having a complete review through the advice and practice team, who are our technical team, to ensure that the best practice hasn't changed, that nothing needs to be updated, and where they feel that their things do need to be updated, that they are the critical things, we need to ensure that that's maintained, the integrity of the product. So we work with the advice and practice team on the reviews, but we also work with them in the interim as well. So whenever there's anything coming through in the wider world, so for example, not long ago there was changes to fire safety regulations. Those came in, we were made aware of those as early as we possibly could be, and we had to then do something to ensure that the products that would be affected by those fire safety regulation changes had either supplementary information or replacement information to cover those topics. Now, a lot of our products in the portfolio are awareness levels, so sometimes regulation changes, but it doesn't necessarily have an impact on our products because the likes of workers and managers aren't necessarily expected to recite legislation. It's the best practice that's key, but in some cases it has a knock-on effect, and we need to make sure that we act and that we update as appropriately as possible. And when we do that, we tend to then utilize our course management systems and our learner management systems to get the message out. We try and get that out through the training newsletter as well. And then if there's anything major as well, we'd use now Emmanuel and his team to make sure that those messages are circulated and shared as best possible, so that everyone understands the impact, the changes, anything that they would need to do as an action off the back of it.
That's great. Okay, that's great. That's really super helpful, Victoria. What I want to get an understanding now is, what about the training course approval side? What does it mean moving forward here? How are we developing, and what is going to be of real value to our training providers?
For those that have not engaged with the actual tailored approval process before, we have made it easy for everyone involved using a professional set of standards to guide us. For a training provider, These give us a step-by-step guide to how their course materials should be developed, whether that's for face-to-face or e-learning. Those materials are submitted to my team, and we also use these standards to ensure the final resources are professional and effective for your learners. This might be something as simple as identifying that a PowerPoint slides have too much content to be comfortably read by a class of learners, or an e-learning course doesn't flow through its topics correctly. Either way, we are ensuring that your courses are great products for your trainers to deliver over the 5 years of IOSH approval, and that your learners will gain new skills and knowledge from a consistently professional product. We are looking forward to seeing an even wider variety of courses coming through the tailored courses process. Bite-sized training is becoming more popular, where small, succinct courses are produced to suit learners who are working to tight time scales. There are some fantastic new examples of VR training which is completely new to us. But again, we are engaging with the times and learning with our training providers.
No, there's a couple of things there really that are important. You talk about the bite-sized learning, and I know when we delivered Catch the Wave and the bite-sized material that could be downloaded, it can still be downloaded at no cost, was a really, really successful piece. And it's funny how people's the way people learn differently, and what they want to do is something that we adapt to, which is really super helpful. Also, some of the new areas of work, some of the international work that we've done through Vision Zero, for example, working with ISA, that's been another area that's been, ideal to look at something as a very different type of training to offer that support around the world. So it's a really good piece in terms of thinking about where we are for our training course approval and how that's developing. One of the things I really want to pick up as well with Emmanuel is around where we've started with digitalization and the pilot program that we've done, how we develop with that, and actually, most importantly, the engagement with our training providers of their thoughts and ideas. So could you give us an idea, Emmanuel, about where we are and how we've interacted on that?
Yes, thanks, Greg. That is a very important point. As you know, that is one of the hottest topic right now in IOSH. It's an exciting portal, and what we're trying to do basically is to give our customers, our training providers, the option to be able to, request or order for digital work certificates for their delegates. We started as a pilot and it's still in the pilot phase. I think I just want to emphasize that point. We're still taking a lot of feedbacks from customers in terms of what could work for them. And we are going back to see how we can refine, the portal, make it a fit for purpose tool for our customers. And based on that, we are continually releasing new updates and features that at the beginning were not, applicable. For instance, the bulk import feature has just been released for our customers, because again, that was one of the issues that was picked up. One of the feedbacks we had when we launched, the fact that customers had to type in manually the email addresses of their delegates, which was, a lot of admin tasks for them. But now you have the option of uploading these, in one go. And so as we continue to progress, we'll take a lot of feedbacks and we go back and listen to these feedbacks and see how we can shape in, this tool and this solution so that it's even more effective and add more value to our training providers going forward.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's an interactive thing between both parties. We don't understand, we don't get a grasp necessarily of saying that the challenges with the relationships with their customers. It's your customer relationships that we need to work around. And much as we can try and provide various different solutions and support, it doesn't fit for all. However, we can only understand that by the interaction, from the training provider. So thanks for that as a final piece. So thanks very much for listening to the session. Thanks very much to the team. It's really interesting stuff that we've covered. It's quite a diverse area really of what we're looking at, and I really want to try and make sure that what we do moving forward is to continue to engage and then answer the questions that are coming in, the demands, the requirements of the training providers. So yeah, really, really, really great session. Just to say, most importantly, thanks very much to our training providers who've listened to the session. Absolutely the critical heart of what it is that we do, and our collectively what we are trying to do across all organisations is to drive a safe and healthy world of work, and think about the impact that we can make collaboratively over time, doing the right thing to drive the right level of safety and health around the world. So thank you for what it is that you're doing. Thank you for listening today, and let's work together moving forward, and we'll speak again soon. Thanks very much.